Again, y'all, this Big Pond, the part two. Like I said, storage is getting kind of tight on my phone, man. So kind of working with limited space here. But I was talking about the fight stick. I was trying to compare playing fighting games anyway with the fight stick compared to playing with the controller. The reason why I prefer the controller, number one, as a kid, growing up, I was never really into going to the arcade. I was always, like I said, a homebody. I was always the type that would like to stay at home, you know what I'm saying, and play my home consoles. I just felt safer. I just, I didn't really want, feel like, communicating with the outside world all like that. I was always in the house. I just always felt safer, just being at home, man. You know what I'm saying? So I always thought about that. It's like, hey, let's go to the arcade, man. Let's go, let's go to this place. Let's go to that place. It's like, nah, it's not really what I want to do. My friends and stuff, they would always try to invite me out. Yo, man, come out, man. Yo, man, let's go to the Powerhouse. Yo, let's go down to Randall. Let's go down to, Euclid Square Mall. Used to be some arcade cabinets. And I got the Genesis at the house, y'all. I got the Super Nintendo at the house. So that's probably why I prefer the video game stick over the fight stick. Now, not putting anything against the fight stick. With the fight stick, people are telling me it's actually a little bit more freer to use, compared to the controller. And I have to agree with them because you could just kind of sprawl your fingers out all over the controller instead of just, pressing those same buttons over and over. You know what I'm saying? You can actually feel it. You can feel the difference between thumb, kind of like button mashing with the thumb and, having, precision taps with each and every button. You know what I'm saying, that you use or that we use. So, that's definitely, I don't want to say an advantage, but it's most certainly something that's going to make a huge difference in, how you play your game. Now, the arcade stick or the fight stick as we call it, excuse me, as far as playing classic arcade titles such as, the X-Men or like, the Ninja Turtles, it's just so many different types of arcade games where it fits perfectly. You know what I mean? It fits so perfect, you could just never get used to how good that feels because that's the way it was meant to be played. Now, they do bring back a whole lot of classics and, we play them with the original gamepad that comes with the console. But we know that they were built and they were actually made in the 80s or in the 90s. So they were meant for you to be playing with them on the arcade fight stick. You know what I mean? Which is most certainly decent. It works out. Now, like I said, me personally, I just feel more comfortable with the gamepad. That's just the way I grew up gaming. You know what I mean? That's just how, how I grew up doing it. Sega Genesis, Mortal Kombat 1, putting in the blood code, ABAC, ABB. That's just how I did it. Super Nintendo, little V over here, Super Nintendo. Playing games like, Mortal Kombat 2 again on Super Nintendo. Had that good speech, had that good music back then. It was definitely top of the line. I never had like an arcade stick that I could use. You know what I mean? I never had a plug up joint that was similar to the fight stick. I never had it. Now, maybe if I had one of those when I was younger, then maybe I could probably kind of see, or maybe if I was like an arcade goer, like many of my friends didn't have games at home. You know what I mean? So they would all see that and they would say, oh, wow. You got your games at home. Well, we got to walk over to such and such store to, just to play Tekken or just to play Pac-Man. And I just kind of had all those games at home. It was just no need for me to, go to the arcade. But now that I actually have, I own the stick. I've owned an arcade fight stick since March of this year. Now, my friends have always used fight sticks. I would go to my friend's house, and they would always have fight sticks right there available. And I would always more than likely lose, but it would be fun. It would be a fun experience because it's just so much more exciting to battle out with the fight stick. I mean, number one, dude, the joint alone is huge. You know what I mean? So you have to, battle and command that huge, piece of equipment around, and that big piece of equipment is just. I mean, once you master that, I mean, that's pretty much it for gaming, unless you get that, big fat, battalion joystick, or unless you go virtual reality. Now you're going into it's a whole nother topic. But yeah, man, as far as the fight stick goes, though, man, um, most certainly, man, I'm interested in it. But I'm always, if somebody come out talking that smack, talking about, oh, I could beat you in Street Fighter, I'm going joypad, most certainly. Now, if I'm practicing against my roommate, or if I'm, playing with the kids, my little nephew, yeah, I go arcade stick. I wouldn't mind, playing around with it, but once again, it's just my opinion, you know. Let's see. Uh, excuse me. Little allergies, little allergies popping up. All this pollen and stuff that's out here. So yeah, summer is here, spring is gone. But yep, man, excuse me, pardon that. But what else? As far as gaming, yeah, I went back to King of Fighters 13, went back to MK Complete Edition, just kind of tinkered around with some of the older games, comparing them to the newer games, and they did indeed do a good job uh branching that connectivity, and branching it to the point where it didn't ruin the old game, but it most certainly made a lasting difference, and it shows you that yes, this is a proper upgrade from this Mortal Kombat to X. From Mortal Kombat, the complete edition over to Mortal Kombat X is most certainly does the job of saying, yeah, this is different. This isn't like, number one, it's not like any other fighting game ever. And number two, let's compare these two and let's see, how they're different, or, is it a waste of an upgrade? Like when you look at games like Super Street Fighter and Ultra Street Fighter, like those are like, people say, oh, well, technically it's different. They move the hitboxes around. No, look at a game like I just mentioned, Mortal Kombat Complete Edition to MKXL. Now, when you compare games like Street Fighter 4 to Street Fighter 5, to me, it's really a graphical difference. Not a lot changed. Graphics changed for the better. I thought the graphics could be a little bit better because it's on PS4. Thought we had way more power by now. Thought we would kind of come out of that anime graphic. I thought that would make Street Fighter really Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? But it is good, and once when you get into the game, you can't really see the differences unless you really get into the mechanics. It's not a game where it's like, cosmetically different. You know what I mean? You really got to get into it. So with that, I can't really complain too much. Now, I did get that Tekken 7. I remember last time when I was on the vlog, I was talking about me possibly being able to go and get Tekken 7. And I do have it. Now, Tekken 7, when I first popped it in, I wasn't impressed. It looked like Tekken 6. Or it looked like Tekken Tag 2. I was fairly disappointed. Now, once again, another game where you have to literally get into the mechanics. And you have to literally play with each character to see what's been changed in order to really note any difference. Now, I remember, like I said, when Tekken first came out, when you look at Tekken 1 to Tekken 2, there's a noticeable difference. When you look at Tekken 2 to Tekken 3, noticeable. 3 and 4, noticeable. 4 and 5, noticeable. 5 and 6, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we getting to the point now, I guess, where the technology can't really go any further. I'm guessing. I mean, I thought Tekken could look better than what 7 looks like, but it's not really there to look like a piece of candy. It's really there to handle business. And once again, I got into it for like a whole day. A whole day just going in on the Mishima Saga. A whole day just going in on the arcade mode, the treasure battles and things of that nature. And mechanic-wise, it's definitely much tougher than Tekken 6. and it's definitely not so. It's not as lenient as Tekken Tag 2. It's not as broken as Tekken Tag 2. It's still pretty broken. And the get up mechanic, the kickback mechanic, after you get knocked down to the ground, is broken because you can get up, you can get up so fast and now from a combo. It's crazy. So anyway, yeah, you got to kind of notice things now. You can't really just look at a game and say, "Oh, there's Tekken 7." Like, you got to really know. I mean, you'll know it's Tekken 7. It looks slightly better. There's better textures, but it's not a wow type of difference. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, Tekken 7. And then when you play the game, you're like, "Oh, Tekken 7. Oh." It's one of those kind of deals. But yeah, man, I just wanted to get a little bit of that off of gaming. Uh I think I'm gonna leave it right there. Not really too much more going on besides just that little stuff. So yeah, hopefully the next time I talk to y'all, I have some big news about place of living, occupation, uh the girly girl. By the way, that girl we have been messaging on Facebook. Um every so often. But we haven't met since that day we met at the exchange. So I'll give you guys an update on that too. Whenever I do you know what I'm saying? But I guess I'm gonna let y'all off here. I'm gonna get soak in some of this hot mugginess before I head back to the air conditioned pad. So you all be cool out there. Always remember, keep your head up no matter what's up. Peace out.